that countdown always ends faster than I want it to. I swear to God, every time.
Doesn't feel like 30 seconds, does it?
No, it does not at all, especially when you're sitting here trying to post on Facebook that you're live and post on Twitter that you're live and all that good stuff. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the brand new THF podcast. The THF Extra Point. Welcome. How are you gentlemen doing tonight?
Doing pretty good.
Very good.
Very well. Yes, sir.
I'm a little out of place. I don't have my jersey on.
Yeah. What's the matter with you, slacker?
Genuvia, you don't have any on, do you? Ah, damn it. Okay, yeah, this is me.
Oh, man.
Thought of it last second.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a Twit or a THF regular, you probably may not recognize a couple faces we have on the screen today. Obviously, you know the gentleman below me, which is Daddy Dabs, but over here to is that my right or my left? I don't know. My right, your right is Firestorm THF. He's a longtime member of the THF community, going way back to the Dads of Fortnite days. Also an OG from the Fantasy Football League. And right below him is Janu, a.k.a. Januvial. You guys probably recognize him maybe from the 420 show. He is my son and the artist known as Janu. And also part of our community and part of our Fantasy Football League. So
yes, sir.
Let's go ahead. I just want to address one thing real quick. Not everybody may be able to see it. Who's your team? Who is your team personally? What team are you rooting for?
Dallas. Always.
The best New England Patriots.
Tennessee Titans.
So Titans, Patriots, Cowboys, and Cowboys. We promise, Janu and I promise, this will not be a Cowboy Homer show. We'll probably be a little hard on the Cowboys, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
You go this long without any results, and you have to look yourself in the mirror and be a little hard on yourself.
I'm not going easy on Dak. He's got too many weapons this season. There's no excuses. No excuses.
Absolutely.
And now the pressure's on for Dak. He's got a new young gun in town ready to take his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we might as well start there. What do you think that he was traded? Dallas traded for him to pressure Dak, to replace Dak, to replace Cooper Rush and be a better backup. Like, what do you think the Cowboys' mindset was in making that trade?
Yeah, it was a statement for sure because, Dak, he didn't have the best season last year. He led the league in interceptions. We all know that, but I don't think it was because some people think that Trey Lance was here to take his place. And I don't think that's the case, but I do think it was meant to be a statement. I think he didn't tell anyone for a reason, but I think that's some kind of saying, hey, Dak, we like you, but you got to step it up this year because we've gotten you everything you need. So here's this guy behind you. We're not going to start him yet, but you never know. So maybe we could see him next year is what I'm thinking, or at the end of the season if it doesn't go well. But
yeah, Lobster said, Jerry was caught in an interview today saying that Dak is our future. In that same interview, though, I point out that Jerry Jones also said that when it came time to make a decision on whether to make the trade that he did, his only statement was, "Yeah, we went and got him." So,
well, yeah, you're getting a top 3 pick for a third round.
I think it was a 4th round.
Was it a 4th round?
I think it was a 4th round, if I remember
even
right.
Better for them then.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4th round, 1st round talent at a 4th round value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the end of the day, it was a good opportunity, just to acquire another asset. Dak, you're right. The results haven't been where everyone's expecting them to be, where everyone would want them to be. But it is it's good to have a 1st round pick as a backup.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Homely boy, what's up? He says, I like Pollard. He should be a workhorse. Should be. Did you draft him, though, is the question. Homely is another another member of our THF Fantasy Football League teams. So
Yep.
I don't remember who
I have
did
Pollard.
we get him. You got Pollard.
I have Pollard, yeah.
Okay, right on.
You know, I was thinking of getting Bijan, but I was like, there's no way. I mean, I have second pick, so I mean, there's no way he's going to be there. So Pollard was my other option.
Yeah, Bijan was my. Yeah, we'll talk about fantasy in a little bit, but yeah, that's
yeah, because I had a realization after the draft that I'm not happy about, and that comes with failing to prepare. But we'll get into that once we get to the fantasy. What do you guys think about the divisions? Like you guys already got it locked in. Like who do you think is going to win each division? Who you think is going to go to the Super Bowl? Like if you guys already decided that, we haven't even played the first game of the season yet, but you know you kind of got to lock some stuff in if we're going to have a show, right?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it'd be fun to make some preseason predictions.
Yeah,
you know, just throw it. You know, it's all a gamble at this point, but you know,
throw it against the wall and let it stick. What do you got?
Yeah, why not? Right.
I mean, I feel like if we do this, we got to start like one by one because it could be a whole topic just for the AFC East. So,
well, I know that's a sensitive spot for you is the AFC East. So why don't you kick it off? What do you got? What do you got in the AFC East?
All right, so this is going to be a debatable take, but I feel like all of ours are anyway. So at my lowest pick, I have the Patriots. Okay, no offense to you. I know you're a Patriots fan. Just figured that out right now. I think the Patriots, they have a lot of weapons. You know, they have Stevenson. They just got Elliott as a backup. He'll always be at the end zone, at least for fantasy. It's more fantasy related. I mean, they have some new decent additions, but with the people that are above them, I feel like they're just not going to be able to compete as well because the next team I have after that is actually the Dolphins. They're a great team in this league. I mean, this league's competitive. They have Tyreek Hill, they have Waddle, they have Mostert if he can stay healthy, and Tua. And that's the other thing with Tua is can he stay healthy? And I think if he can stay healthy, the Dolphins will probably have a really good season. I mean, they have the weapons, everything that they need. My next after that is going to be the Jets. I know we haven't – everyone's debating about the Jets. Most people, I guess, say that the Jets are going to go hard this season. Some people think it's all fluke. But I think if we take the Aaron Rodgers that we had from the season prior to that – I know he didn't have the best season last year, but if we say theoretically Rodgers plays almost close to that, I mean, if you've seen anything from preseason or any of Garrett Wilson from college, I mean, he's a stud. I mean, he's a really great player. He could be next year's like top 5 wide receiver picks. I mean, that guy's a stud. And, you know, they just got the new addition of Cooks. I mean, I just feel like they're going to do really well this season. Of course, at the top, I have the Bills. I mean, you guys already know about the Bills, Josh Allen, Diggs, all them. I think James Cook is great. He's going to be starting this year. So, yeah, those are my picks for East.
So, Firestorm, that's your division.
Yeah, so it's tough to say right now. Obviously, so I'm a sports bettor, and the lines have – so the Patriots winning the division as plus 800 versus all the others, which are in the plus 200s. So that's a pretty big spread with the other 3 teams being – tightly close together. I kind of agree with Januvio though for a couple of reasons. The only thing that could be a factor is the coaching. So everyone is forgetting the Belichick factor, and as you know, the Patriots reinforced their coaching by bringing Bill O'Brien back. Obviously, you guys aren't going to hear about Patriots training camp on your local sports talks, but the talk around town is that Mac Jones is doing significantly better in the Bill O'Brien program at the moment, at least during training camp, because it is a little more advanced versus the Matt Patricia offense, which was dumped down quite a bit. Mac Jones is kind of a OCD type, and of course he's used to Bill O'Brien from his time in college. So obviously the AFC East is absolutely stacked. It's probably the strongest division in football.
Yeah,
it really could be.
Mike McDaniels is still a new coach, and Robert Saleh is kind of an idiot, if we're being honest. and mix that in with a very, very particular diva type personality with Aaron Rodgers. It's gonna be an interesting thing to see. The only thing that still leads me to believe the Patriots are going to come out last in the division is they have, without a doubt, the hardest schedule in football this year. I'll be very surprised if they have a winning season. I don't. It's up in the air right now. But
I haven't looked at the strength of schedule stuff yet. I really need to, because I've got some strength of schedule opinions based on last year's strength of schedule, and I could see some teams that did very well last year really hitting rock bottom this year because of their schedule being completely different. We'll get to Minnesota after a while. Dabs, do you have any strong AFC East opinions?
My ranking matched Januviel's to a T.
Wow. Okay.
I had New England, Miami, Jets, and then Buffalo winning. But that's pretty much solved itself. Let's go back to this hot take over here.
Oh, the hot take of Zeke passing 1,000 yards?
No fucking way.
No
As
shot.
a secondary behind Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, he came in 100% to be the veteran backup for Ramondre. He will get quite a few red zone touches. That's something that's going to happen.
He's going to vulture a lot of TDs.
Is he going to walk away with 12 touchdowns? Maybe. That's not
probably. That's more likely than 1,000 yards.
Yeah, he's not going to get 1,000 yards. I mean, Ramondre barely gets 1,000 yards.
Touchdowns for him for the year, but you know.
And the Patriots are known for deploying their running backs in schemes like
in short bursts.
Yeah, and this guy does this guy does this. So sometimes you'll get Ramondre Stevenson. He's not even going to barely play in a game because it just doesn't fit the scheme that Belichick wants to deploy in that game. They're famous for that. Like they've I can't even remember the last time that they had a true like workhorse running back and a true number 2 that just did well all season long. Like the Patriots just don't do that.
Yeah, I mean the most recent pair was Damian Harris and Josh White,
and look how short-lived that was.
Right. Josh White retired, and then Damian Harris is elsewhere now.
Yeah,
but Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke is quite the pair.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see.
I think Zeke's great as a secondary. You know, I've been saying that since Pollard was there. You know, Zeke has a potential. I mean,
and he's one of the best red zone weapons in the league.
Yeah.
He's a good football player, but for fantasy, he's pretty much irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, and he wasn't fitting into the Dallas offense anymore.
Yeah.
Not with CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard.
Right. True. So my hot take on the AFC East is that I don't think the Jets are going to do as good as everybody thinks they are.
Yeah, it's kind of coming down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, I think they're going to be the team that surprises people in the opposite way. And that's more because of how I feel about Aaron Rodgers in a fantasy football way. So I'll save the really hot take till later. Some of you guys already know what I'm going to say. but yeah, I my only comment on the AFC East is I just don't think the Jets are going to, in the end, I don't think they're going to be as good as a lot of people. Some people have them winning that division over the Bills. And I just think
people have them winning the Super Bowl.
Bro,
yeah,
there's no chance.
They're going far.
A lot of people are making these Tom Brady comparisons and connecting those dots between what Tom Brady did and what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. And they're basically like duplicating that story.
It's more
let Aaron Rodgers build his own team. They let him grab Lazard and they pulled this player or whatever. And there's a lot of similarities, but the biggest difference is Aaron Rodgers is not the GOAT,
and he's a diva. Like Tom Brady he's a team icon, and he brings a culture with him. Aaron Rodgers brings baggage.
I hope you clip that, Homely.
I think it's more of a repeat of when Brett Favre went to the Jets. In terms of not how it's going to end up, for Brett Favre, it was a disaster with the Jets. He ended up going to Minnesota, but I think you can't compare Aaron Rodgers moving to Tom Brady moving because, like you guys were saying, that talent factor and that whole the unteachables is there.
Yeah, there's too many variables there that aren't going to be similar, and
yeah.
I just think people are looking at the whole story from like this zoomed out lens, and they're saying, "Oh, well, Tom Brady did it, Aaron Rodgers can do it," and it's like,
and Matthew Stafford did it. He went from Detroit to LA and won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody saw that one coming. So,
it could go either way.
What's the next division down here on my list?
Let's do AFC North. Let's do that one.
AFC North. You got the Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh.
I feel like that's a similar situation as the AFC's talent wise, because these are 4 potentially very good teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like kind of they're like the poor man's AFC East as far as talent goes this year, though. I mean, does anybody really
they're
think
the generic brand. They're the great value.
Yeah. Does anybody think Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, or Pittsburgh is going to knock off anybody in the East in the playoff or in the AFC East in the playoffs? I think the only one you can honestly say has a chance there is Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But all 4 teams have the potential to be pretty good regular season teams. Yeah. But I don't think any of them are threatening anybody once it comes playoff time, except for maybe Cincinnati, because obviously they've shown that they can do it, and they've
don't
still
forget
got
about the
Ravens.
You can't forget about the Ravens, dude. The Ravens could be really good this season.
I mean, they definitely could be.
But will they be?
Yeah.
I think the Ravens are the Jets of the North right now.
Yeah, Baltimore's the team that you think is going to do good every year. But
really, it's Cincinnati's division to lose.
Yeah.
But the Ravens got a lot better, and the Steelers are getting better.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar has like the best weapons he's ever had right now, especially if Zay Flowers can step up, and if he's a key guy. And then they have Mark Andrews and just those guys. I mean, they're really talented. It's hard to say that the Ravens couldn't compete when it comes to the playoffs. If that old Lamar could come back for a little bit, he has the weapons. He has the ability to do it.
It's important.
And he got the contract too.
You got the contract, and it's important to note that they got Todd Monken in as the offensive coordinator, and that guy is very pass heavy. So they're gonna throw the ball a lot. They brought in Odell Beckham, they got Zay Flowers, they got Rashad Bateman, they got Devin Duvernay. That they have the weapons. So Mark Andrews is gonna take all the targets anyways. But
I think OBJ is not even the factor here.
He's a veteran in the locker room. He's a veteran in the locker room to help those Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, does anybody expect him to show flashes of what he did in LA when he first went there?
You might get a game or two. You might get a game or two where he gets 2 touchdowns, and outside of that,
I agree. He might have like a really crazy one-timer, like crazy 50-yard catch touchdown, but I think he'll just be that one deep threat you might see once or twice, and that's it. I don't see it being much. He was there last year, wasn't he?
I snagged him in both of my fantasy leagues just for a bench spot, just on the off chance that he develops some kind of odd chemistry with Lamar Jackson and just goes off.
It very well could happen.
You never know, man. You're right. It could.
I think Zay Flowers is the number 1 receiver in that group. I think he might win Rookie of the Year. Anyways, but I think behind him, the next best option is Odell Beckham. Yeah,
that's a long way to go from a guy that some people don't think he's going to even be relevant to your number 1 wide receiver. That's a lot of room in between.
For who? Odell?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying in general, if
that's how open it is on the discussion of him. He's either going to be a top 10 wide receiver, or he's going to not do anything.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. Hopkins is still in the league. He's not terrible. He's 30 years old now.
Odell's I have Hopkins in my notes for a later segment.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But that takes us to the AFC South?
So who do we have taking the AFC North? I said Cincinnati. Anybody else say otherwise?
Yeah, I think
Cincy.
I agree with Firestorm. It's definitely Cincinnati's division
Yeah,
to lose.
yeah, definitely.
I think when the dust settles, nobody's going to take that division from it. It's theirs.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yep.
Those are going to be good divisional games to watch.
Yeah.
If Joe Burrow were to get hurt, then it's Baltimore's to lose.
Right, but Lamar Jackson gets hurt too.
Yeah. Then Kenny Pickett's time to shine.
What do y'all think about the Browns right now?
I just don't
They're
know
the
if I can
worst in a
trust
good
them.
division. So
yeah, I mean their coaching is still awful. And who other than Nick Chubb, Deshaun Watson's a shell of it's the corpse of Deshaun Watson right now.
Yeah.
So unless he comes back to life.
Yeah, they're my local team. So
and their receivers are mid at best.
Now, I know
Amari
they do
Cooper gets a lot of production, but
in fantasy, Amari Cooper was top 10, and a lot of people act like it wasn't, but it was. It was true, and that was with their backup quarterback.
He actually started.
We'll see, but
Amari started off better with Jacoby Brissett than when Deshaun came in. He did worse, fantasy wise or production wise. So
I've been burned too many times having good like hopeful feelings for Cleveland just because they're that team that you just
always lose.
They're the perennial underdog. So
hey, that's my home team, you know.
And I've always wanted them to do better. And I've seen, when they went 0-16, it reminded me of Detroit going 0-16, and a couple years later, Detroit was in the playoffs. I was like, watch everybody, mark my words, Cleveland's going to be that team, and they let me down. Again, it's like they have on paper they should be competing for the division, but they don't. Even when they should be, they don't. And it's every year that you get psyched about them, they let you down.
Cleveland, I think they're going to be an okay team, but they're going to go above 500, but they're not going to win that division by a long shot. They're not going to win.
I don't know if they go above 500 either. Maybe,
no?
But they're in a tough division. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
I think it's real tough for Pittsburgh to go 500 too.
But somehow Tomlin always fucking does it.
I think Pittsburgh's better than Cleveland, just because of their defense. Pittsburgh has an excellent defense.
Yes, TJ
and up and coming, rookie and young talent. I think they'll again unless Deshaun Watson comes back to life. I don't see the Browns doing well this year. But again, I could be wrong. Just looking at the rest of the division,
Oh,
yeah, it's tough for sure.
All right, to the South.
We can kind of skip the South. I mean, it's Texans, Colts, Jaguars, and Titans.
Whoa, I'm Titans fan. I'm Titans fan. What you doing, man? Get the.
All right, Debs.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll start.
Titans number one.
I will start last, and I will go with Houston.
For obvious reasons.
They're not going to be a good team this year. CJ Stroud's going to need at least a year to develop. They don't have a lot of weapons around him outside of Dameon Pierce. So I mean, it's not as bad as the Cardinals, okay, but it's up there. Indy, I think, will be third in the division. Anthony Richardson is a toss-up. I drafted him in the hopes that he would be something. The Jonathan Taylor mess is nasty. So
yeah, that's so weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where is it at right now? He's
on the PUP list, so he cannot play for the first 4 weeks.
But they franchised him, right?
No, he's not anything. He's still under his rookie contract.
Oh, okay.
They didn't add
that they franchised him.
He demanded a trade, but they
first
they
were
wouldn't
like,
entertain it.
Yeah. First they're like, we're not trading you, and then they're like, go ahead and try find a trade partner. We'll give you. This is what we want for you. The deadline passed. Nobody ended up trading with them, so he went on the PUP list. So he's not. He's out for at least the first 4 games. I don't think he's going to play much at all this season. Doesn't make sense for him as a player. And
it really sucks too because he could quite easily be one of the best running backs in the league.
Oh yeah, his ankle is hurt, so that's another thing to consider too. Even if he is on the field, how healthy is he going to be? He hasn't done any OTAs, no training camp, no preseason. Who knows what his ankle's like? So that's a situation to avoid at all costs.
This is kind of a tangent or a segue here, and we'll circle back. But this is. I mean, he's a prime example of the things that are going on with running backs in the league right now. Like
he's the headline.
Yeah, he's the epitome of how running backs are being treated in the NFL these days. Even though they're probably one of, if not the most abused position physically, and teams just aren't wanting to pay them anymore.
No, they'll run him for 4 years on their rookie deal, get rid of him, and sign the young one.
Yeah, I mean, everybody always talks about the NFL being business. It's just business, right? Is anybody feeling bad for him?
Yeah. So, anyways, Indy is third. Tennessee is second. Okay, Tennessee is my team, but let's face it, it's the Derrick Henry show. So, outside of what he does,
the D-Hop show.
Nah, they don't pass enough for DeAndre Hopkins to even be. He at best they have a maybe top 50% wide receiver category in terms of production, but
I think he's still got the juice, bro.
He's got the juice, but I'm saying, is he going to get the targets?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to have to be wide receiver 1, right? Because who else is there? He
is wide receiver 1. Traylon Burks is wide receiver 2. They got Chris Ogunagwo as a tight end. He's a good.
Well, if they let the kid throw, he'll get the targets. The question is, are they going to let him throw?
It's Tannehill. Do you want Tannehill throwing the fucking ball all the time?
Well,
no.
I mean, it's
throwing the ball all the time.
Having D-Hop down the field is better than what he's had, so it could be.
Well, we had AJ Brown.
Yeah, even with AJ Brown, Tannehill is only Tannehill so far, but right. AJ Brown's not D-Hop.
Right. I know what you're saying. I'm just saying, volume-wise, I don't think it's going to be there for D-Hop to be like a top 12 wide receiver this year. Anyways, it's Jacksonville's division to lose, just like it's Cincinnati's. Trevor Lawrence, I think, is going to take a huge leap. He's got Calvin Ridley added to the mix. They drafted Tank Bigsby. They're just getting better. So that's my take.
Calvin Ridley, and I know this has more to do with fantasy than real life, but from everything I've seen, he's looked great in preseason. And I've noticed in at least both of my fantasy drafts, people are not paying any attention to him whatsoever. Like, they're not expecting much from him, but all the IRL reports I see on this kid is like he's rebounding nicely for somebody that hasn't played for 2 years.
Who's that?
Calvin Ridley.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like everybody's saying he looks good and he's going to fit that system, the Jacksonville system, well. But he's not getting any respect in fantasy football drafts from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, he's not really getting drafted too early right now. I don't think people do. Maybe round 3 or 4. I never seen any round 2 or 1.
Yeah, definitely not. Firestorm, any opinions on the AFC South?
So Jacksonville is minus 155 to win the division. Everyone else has positive odds. So that's pretty much how the Dabs list is how Vegas feels as well.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, it sucks as a Titans fan, but I don't even think they're going to get in the playoffs this year with how stacked some of these other AFC divisions are.
The AFC is filthy right now.
The wild cards are going to be taken up by teams that could easily have won their division. So,
yeah, the first 2 divisions we talked about were both very, very strong. So, and we haven't even talked about AFC West yet, which is got the Chiefs, of course.
You got 2 teams in there that are going to.
I think there's 3 teams in there that are threats. So Vegas has the Raiders at plus 2,000. They have them at the worst odds in the league to win the division, which is strange to me because they've improved. I feel as though they've improved. McDaniels, it was tough last season, but if Garoppolo can stay healthy, he's better than Derek Carr.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. And
excuse me,
Sean
gentlemen,
Payton,
I'll be right back.
What was that?
Sean Payton. How's that not a factor?
Oh, for the Broncos?
No. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. So I'm sorry. We're talking about the Raiders.
Yeah, we're talking about the Raiders.
That's what happens when you do two things at one time.
Yeah. No, I mean, coaching is obviously a big aspect in it, but at the end of the day, Russ is not who he used to be. So if I'm looking at the AFC West, I have the Broncos placing last, and then it's a toss up between the Raiders and the Chargers. The Chargers are very good, don't get me wrong, but Josh McDaniels is one of the most talented offensive minds in the league, and he can find his way around things. But it's the Chiefs division. Obviously, the Chiefs are going to win. Barring Patrick Mahomes going down in the first game, it's the Chiefs all the way. There's no question about it.
If he plays all 17 games, the division is a lock.
And as long as Kelce, this supposed knee injury isn't terrible, and he's back pretty soon, that even if he's down 3 or 4 weeks, even more than that, it's still Mahomes. He still has people to throw to. He can still move on his own. The Chiefs will be fine.
Yeah,
they're going to win the division.
Kelce slows them down really all that much.
Unless something happens to Mahomes, the Chiefs are going to win.
Right. I think we all agree there. I don't know, Janu?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything he said. It's pretty much a toss-up between the Chargers and the Raiders. On my list, I have it from worst to best: Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, Kansas. That's my take on it.
Same here.
Because I think Russell Wilson will be better this year. Maybe not exponentially better, but I think he'll be a little bit better. But I just still don't think that's enough for him to be able to compete when the Raiders have Jimmy G, Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs. I mean, they have the weapons. Jimmy G's already proven he can be a solid quarterback. So
as long as he's healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough when a team has a it's tough when a team has a noticeable, improvement. It's even harder when the rest of the division also improves. And the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They stay the same, but they're always a step above. But the other two teams in the division have gotten better, and they're going to stay competitive. It's a competitive division, not like some of the others, but I don't see the Broncos moving up any further.
Yeah, I've always been a Russell Wilson fan, so I really see him turning it around. I don't think he duplicates the absolute clown show that he put on the field last year. I really don't. I think he does a completely 180. Is it enough to even get third in the division? Ooh, that's tough. I still probably have the. If I'm betting on it, I still think the Broncos are fourth in that division. Although the Raiders could definitely take that spot, but I think those teams are interchangeable as far as they could go. I think both teams could probably go either way on that. But yeah, definitely Chiefs to win. Chargers are going to be competitive. Probably Chargers are going to be fighting for a wild card with all the other really good teams in the AFC.
Yeah, I think for Russ, the question is if he still has his arm or not. I think him running like he used to. I don't think you're going to see that as much anymore. But I do, if he has the arm and Judy gets healthy and everything like that.
Yeah.
It might surprise people, but I don't think they're getting out of fourth place in that division.
Real quick, I just want to pause for a second. Uncle Gutty, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate you guys. And Uncle Gutty, thank you for sending your community over on the inaugural THF Extra Point podcast. Thank you very much for your support. And hello, welcome. Oh, he says it's Dick coaching the Bears. We haven't gotten to the NFC yet, but stick around. We'll answer that question. And that's where we're at right now, is moving to the NFC, right? Well, let me ask you this before we move to the NFC: who's taking the whole AFC? If you gotta call the conference champion right now, who do you have?
I mean, it's definitely got to be the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs every single season do extremely well. A lot of people think they might even go like 16 or 17-0 for the regular season. Mahomes, I mean, he's a great quarterback. When Kelce comes back, he's going to be dominant again, the same. So it's probably going to be the Chiefs for me.
So I have Cincinnati. I think with Brady retiring and Mahomes getting his second Super Bowl, you know, the NFL's rigged, but I don't think the NFL's rigged. But I think there are going to be factors that favor the Bengals this year because having passing the torch from Manning and Brady to Mahomes and Burrow, it's gonna boost ratings for the NFL and keep people talking about it. So I think this year is the year Cincinnati breaks through again. They still have to get back to the Super Bowl after losing to the Rams the year before last. So I have the Bengals this year.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think for me, it's a coin flip. It's Cincinnati or Chiefs all over again. I don't see any team. There's no team that has the resume to beat them.
People think Buffalo does, but I'm sorry, but Buffalo is very similar to Dallas. They're stacked with talent. They have a generational quarterback, and then they crap down their legs in the playoffs.
They haven't proven it. Exactly.
Exactly.
The only two teams in the AFC that have conference champion resumes are the two that are once again the favorites. And so I don't see how you pick anybody other than those two guys or those two teams.
I would like to throw the Chargers in there. I think they're a team to watch out for. If Herbert can stay healthy and Mario Williams and Keenan Allen can stay healthy, I think there's a very good chance they make a deep run in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. If Eckler can stay healthy
this year, I'm
if
calling
Eckler can not get injured.
I mean, it's the NFL, so anything's possible. Everything hinges on injuries and schedules, and there's so many variables. But in the end, it's stats are stats, and so if you can make some of the easy calls, or you can call out, you can root for some dark horses.
I'm saying Cincinnati or LA Chargers.
Well, that's a different take. Dark horse is a different take. If I was going to do a dark horse take, I'd probably do the Saints. Or, sorry, not the Saints from that side. NFC.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
No, I had them on a different list where it said dark horse, and I was going to save that for later, but I already said it now. So from that side, I'd probably do the Jaguars. I think Trevor Lawrence, he could really pick it up this year, and he has the weapons, dude. And they didn't have the best record last season, but they were doing
they
in the
played
playoffs.
good at the end of the
last
season.
game that they had was insane.
Well at the end of the season.
That just brought back nostalgia. I don't know why, but it just felt like watching an old football game. Just a good game. It was a good comeback. After that, I'm a Jaguars believer.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I like the San Diego or the Jaguars busting through and flipping the script. It's a nice thought. I would never put any money on it, but I mean, I would love the story. I always like to see underdogs, especially when we're talking about the AFC, because I'm not an AFC fan, so I'm always gonna prefer to see somebody shaking it up. That's just me. That's why I hated the Patriots so much.
It's the same for me for the AFC to NFC.
Right. You're flipped.
Yeah. It's the same for me, but opposite.
Let's move on to the NFC real quick. Let's just go ahead and knock out the NFC East. We won't. I mean, come on. You guys already know what I'm saying about the NFC East. So y'all go ahead. I'll let y'all go. Tear it apart.
Philly's going to win the division.
I agree.
Really?
I think Philly's going to win the division.
I mean, that's a fair thought, but I don't think they're going to win the division this year.
Philly has objectively gotten better than they did last year, and they have a bone to pick now, seeing how they, dropped out in the Super Bowl.
And they also had a pretty cake-ass schedule last year, and I that's what I was saying earlier. I need to look at the strength of schedule, and see we'll find out. We'll find out real quick. Headhunting in the Discord, he's a Philly fan, and he was saying that their schedule is just as easy this year. And if I look at that and I agree with him, then man, even it hurts me to say it, but I don't know how they don't win the division if they have an easy schedule like they did last year. But I think the Cowboys have gotten better too. So, and Pollard doesn't get injured. The playoffs last year look a little different, or at least could definitely look a lot different. Philly and Cowboys were neck and neck last year. They both beat each other with a backup quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of things you can say about the NFC East that I have a hard time making it as cut and dry. It's kind of like the AFC East. It's like, man, there's really the only difference is there's only 2 teams that we're talking about instead of 3.
I think the big thing is if the Eagles can keep up on defense with the sacks and everything that they had like last year, because Dallas has the best defense in the league. We have more weapons. We're finally starting Pollard over Zeke. I think the main thing is if, like we were saying earlier, if Dak can actually play really well this season. Because last season, it was all right, but it wasn't Super Bowl worthy, and that's what we really need. And we have the weapons. We got Brandon Cooks now. We already have CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, all those guys. We have a great team. I think Eagles and Cowboys are pretty neck and neck, but I have the Cowboys over.
Yeah, I think if you're not a Philly fan or a Cowboy fan, and you're not a Cowboy a hater like a lot of people are, then I think if you're honest, you're flipping a coin. But that's just me.
Maybe you might be right, but I don't know. I still think Dak is not what everyone thinks he is, and I also don't trust McCarthy. I think he coaches you guys in the bad situations.
Yeah, from my point of view, I always felt like that was probably the offensive coordinator that got us in a lot of those jams and he's no longer here. So
he's with the Chargers. He's going to go to the Super Bowl.
That's how a lot of things happen, isn't it? They leave Dallas and go to the Super Bowl.
Well, Kellen Moore, all reliable for the Cowboys, huh?
But yeah, no, I mean, he was a good young mind and all, but I think I don't know. McCarthy has skins on the wall. He has a Super Bowl, so you can't say he can't do it, like, because he's done it, right? So I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll definitely see. But Washington, New York, I think we all agree on that, at least.
They're both going to be improved. Overall, this division is an improvement. Daniel Jones is going to take an improvement. He's got Darren Waller now, which is a huge thing.
It's a huge improvement. If Barkley stays playing well, and don't forget, I think they'll be competitive, but they're not. I don't think they're going to win the division.
Yeah, no. It's definitely a toss-up between Philly and Dallas on who wins the division. They're both probably going to make the playoffs, but who wins the division, I don't really know.
Don't forget that through like the first 4 or 5 weeks last season, the NFC East was dominant. Like they were the 4 best teams in the NFL through like the first few weeks.
Yeah, it's not a bad division. Like I think Sam Howell is going to be. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be quite as bad as people might think he's going to be.
I mean, it shocked the hell out of me. So we'll see if it duplicates again. If any of these teams can take off like they did last year.
My hot NFC East take is that I think the Patriots might win against the Eagles on Sunday.
Oh, is that game one
Game
for
one.
them?
First,
really?
Yeah. Obviously, it's a long shot, and if the Patriots lose, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. But I think Belichick has some tricks up his sleeve to shut down Hurts a little bit.
I'm all for that, by the way.
The question is if the new offense shows up for the Patriots. But I think that's going to be a good game to watch.
Are you going to throw money at it?
I haven't decided yet. So the line keeps changing a little bit. If the odds are at like +4 right now, if they can get down to +3, +3.5, I might hit the Patriots on that. But
I have a question.
In the meantime, I'm waiting.
I have a question for you. What do you think about Mac Jones coming in this year and having the weapons he has? Because I think it was your head coach had a big statement saying that Mac Jones is like looking really good and he's ready, like he's really confident in him.
Yeah, so I mentioned it a little earlier. He had a really good training camp, and he has Bill O'Brien now as a defensive coordinator, and he coached him in Alabama. He kind of took a step back last season after having a pretty solid rookie year, but it was Matt Patricia, who is a defensive mind, not an offensive mind by any means. It was not a great year for the Patriots, but from at least the sports talk and the scuttlebutt is that Mac is doing much better in a more advanced and a more familiar, but yet a more familiar offense compared to the program he had last year, and he does have much better weapons. If Brady had these weapons the year he left, they would have won the Super Bowl. Hunter Henry's still really good. Mike Gesicki he's probably a sleeper. He's gonna do better than
Gesicki's good. Yeah,
he's gonna do better than Jonnu Smith, that's for sure. You have Ramondre, now you have Zeke, Juju, as long as his knee doesn't explode. Devontae Parker's back. He might get some more targets this year. And the only concern I really have with the Patriots offense is the O-line. The O-line hasn't gotten any better. If anything, it might have gotten a little worse than it did last year, and that was a big problem. So if the O-line can hold up, Mac doesn't throw the ball away, and Mac doesn't get murdered like he did against Baltimore, I think he's going to do better than last year, and I think the Patriots are going to be a different team compared to last year. But again, that division stuff. But
can I just say that the word scuttlebutt is not used enough, and I appreciate you using it tonight.
That's gotta pull out those 25-cent words every now and then.
There we go. How about the NFC North? Bears, Lions, Packers, Vikings.
This one's wide open, man.
Is it? Because I don't think it is.
I have Detroit winning.
100%.
I have Minnesota.
I have Minnesota second. So yeah,
Minnesota had one of the easiest schedules last year, and this is my going the 180 take, whatever you want to call it, because they went what did they do? 13-4 last year? Is that right? Something like that. I mean, they ran away with the division, and of course busted in the playoffs, and they have a much harder schedule this year. And so because there's no way they don't. I don't even have to look at it. They had one of the easiest schedules last year. So there's no way their schedule's not harder this year. And I don't think a lot of people, chains and all, really they're Kirk Cousin believers. I'm not that guy. I mean, and outside of Justin Jefferson,
yeah. I mean, I love Justin Jefferson. Obviously, he's one of the best wide receivers we've seen in a long time. But my thing with the Vikings is their defense really got exposed last year in the playoffs against the Giants. And I don't know that the defense is going to be doing too well, especially I haven't looked at their schedule. They have a harder schedule, especially since Kirk Cousins, I think this is going to be his last year playing with the Vikings. I just don't know. I have them as my third in that division. And then above that, I have Green Bay and Lions above that.
I have Green Bay finishing last. See, this is what I'm saying.
I have Green Bay on last.
Yeah, I do too.
Detroit, Minnesota, Chicago, Green Bay.
Fair enough.
I Detroit, Minnesota, Bears, and then Green Bay at the bottom.
Same as mine. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think that they're gonna suck this year, but I think that Detroit's gonna go up and Minnesota's gonna go down. And I think you're gonna see that outside of fantasy, that the only thing that Minnesota can do is just put the ball in Justin Jefferson's hands and pray for a win.
Yeah, and they lost Dalvin Cook too, right? He got traded over to the Jets, I think.
Yeah, and Madison's not bad. He's really not.
Yeah, and the Vikings really aren't a running back heavy team.
Yeah, no, they're not.
Yeah, that's true.
But Dalvin Cook was a solid fantasy player when he was healthy. So, they run the ball. They run the ball as much as they need to run the ball. But I think they take a big step back this year, and I think Detroit takes a big step up. I think Green Bay takes a giant step back this year, and then Chicago takes that little step up. I think they're going to improve a little bit over last year, and so it just shakes up the whole division, I think, this year.
I just don't think Green Bay can be that worse, because how can this guy Love be worse than how Aaron Rodgers was last season? Because he was terrible. It's got to be at least a step up from that. And they have weapons. It's not like they don't have weapons. I would agree with maybe even like a third place, but I just don't see the Bears not being at the bottom of the division. Because, Justin Fields, I love him. I have him on my fantasy team. He's great. But last year, he was like the most sacked quarterback, I believe. And on top of that, they don't have that many great weapons. I think they'll improve, but I don't think they'll be number 2 after last season. I mean, they had like the longest losing streak in Bears history last year. I don't think they go from that to being a playoff team, but
no, I don't think they make the playoffs. Definitely not. But look, I mean, Green Bay had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers for like the last 30 years. Yeah. What are the chances they're actually going to hit on a third Hall of Fame quarterback? It's probably going to be quite the opposite, honestly. I mean, the odds are just not in their favor. This guy is
better
not
odds than Cleveland.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
everybody's better off than Cleveland's quarterback record. Have you seen that meme with the 30 names on the back of the jersey?
Hey man, I'm here. I've lived through them all.
Yeah.
So I mean,
since the Tim Couch era, it's just been.
To be fair, Baker is not bad. He's pretty good, and he had a crazy rookie year, but the coaching did him dirty. It all comes back to coaching, especially with Baker. Everyone's kind of like written him off because he's just been bouncing around, but I think if we haven't even gotten to Tampa yet, but I think if Tampa's coaching rebuild is truly what they say it is, I think he's going to thrive in that program because he's got some really good veteran talents to throw to.
Yeah, I don't mind Baker, and he'll never have to buy a drink in Cleveland because he took him to the playoff for the first time.
Right, and he beat the Steelers. Yeah.
So I have no beef with Baker.
And that's
Manziel's
where we're moving into the NFC South right now, which is the Falcons, Panthers, Saints, and Bucks, which is the new home of Baker Mayfield, right? Yeah. Tampa Bay. Question mark?
Yeah, I got the Saints. Yep. Saints take it.
Really?
I have Saints at the top 2.
Tampa Bay is second.
See, that's a hot take.
This is the conference that I have no clue. I really don't. I think out of all of the divisions, sorry, did I say conference? I mean divisions. Out of all the divisions, this is the one I really think it could go. Any one of those teams could jump up and win the division. I just don't. I don't have any confidence in any of them over the others.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm completely confused on this one.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints they got better getting Derek Carr. I mean, he's not the best, but he's better than who they've had.
He's no Drew Brees, but he's not Andy Dalton and Jameis.
Exactly.
Well, and here's the thing: there are things that Jameis Winston could do that Derek Carr can't do. Jameis Winston had those 5 touchdown games where he just went off and went crazy.
How many interceptions did he have that game?
But then he also had the next game, he'd throw up just as many interceptions as he did touchdowns the week before.
Yeah.
So, Derek Carr's in the middle. He doesn't have the upside that some of the past quarterbacks have had, but he doesn't have the same floor either.
High floor, low ceiling.
Yeah, he's gonna do much better overall, I think. So, if I had to pick one, it'd either be Saints or Falcons, because the Falcons have obviously gotten much better, and they've got arguably the best weapon out of the draft that you can get. So I mean,
yeah.
I think if you put a gun to my head and said pick one, it's going to be Saints or Falcons, and I'm probably flipping a coin.
Yeah,
again.
I'm going Saints or Buccaneers. I think with Atlanta and Carolina, you got 2 unproven quarterbacks. Bryce Young is obviously he's a rookie, and Desmond Ridder, this might as well be his rookie year. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm saying I don't know what they have in a quarterback that can lead them to that step. Tampa, Baker has it in him, and obviously Derek Carr is going to be he's the generic brand quarterback. He's going to be that right in the middle of the NFL and everything. So,
I agree. I think Vegas is sleep. Vegas has Tampa last in the division at plus 1,000 to win it, versus the Saints, who are plus 130. But again, if Baker can hold it together, and this coach and he doesn't get poorly coached, because after Tampa lost to Dallas last year, they completely nuked their coaching. They have all new coaching, and if they can hold it together, they still have top-notch offensive talent. They still have Chris Godwin. They still have Mike Evans. Rachaad White is going to be he's going to be excellent. He kind of had to live in Leonard Fournette's shadow while the O-line was getting smoked. But if Baker can hold it together, if he can play like he did that year he went to the playoffs as well as his rookie season, it really is the Buccaneers division to lose.
Yeah, I could see that too. I don't know. I guess it's just one of those things where I'm a show me person, and he's failed more times than he's succeeded, and so I just don't know that I have a whole lot of faith of him doing it on a team that's clearly rebuilding and not and.
So, but what has Atlanta showed you to put them above Tampa Bay?
And to be fair, what has Dak Prescott showed you?
By that
same leg, you know what I mean?
Like a lot in the regular season. and if we want to go down that road, there was once upon a time where everybody thought that Peyton Manning was a choker and couldn't get it done in the playoffs too, and he turned out to be one of the best quarterbacks in history. So, I mean, we could talk about what they haven't done, but as long as they're still playing, they have a chance to do something.
Well, yeah, because Dak's ceiling every single year is Super Bowl every single year. Even if he makes playoffs, he's still going to get made fun of.
The
he's
Cowboys.
Everybody
I
don't think he's the best in the league. I don't think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks known to man. I just think he's good enough to get it done. That's all.
No, for sure. I'm just using him as an example. Like, it's the same idea. You can't write him off until it's over.
Yeah.
I think Baker, as long as he holds up, I think they do have a good chance to at least make the playoffs.
That's how I feel about Derek Carr. I mean, we all know how Derek Carr's been the past few seasons, but when you look at the weapons that they have on the Saints, I feel like there's just way too much upside to not put them at the top, because they have Olave, who I personally think next year is going to be a top 5 wide receiver. He's young. He's a stud. They have Rashid Shaheed. He didn't get that much time, but he's going to be wide receiver 3 probably. And every time he touched the ball, I mean, that guy's a stud. Michael Thomas, I know with him, it's a thing with like injuries and this and that. but I feel like there's a reason that he stayed in the NFL and that he took time out last year when he could have came back. Because I think in this next year or year or two, he's looking to play and then retire after that. So I think he's going to go hard this year. They also got Jamal Williams.
I mean, Michael Thomas has been semi-retired for like 2 years.
Yeah, he hasn't played in 2 years. So.
He's played like what, six games in the last 2 years? I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. No, I get that. But yeah, that's my thing with the Saints. I feel like there's just too much upside. And for the second team, I have the Falcons after that.
Yeah, it's an interesting division, that's for sure.
I know we said we were going to target for an hour, right? We're right at an hour right now. We haven't finished the NFC West or talked about fantasy football yet. So let's go speed round. NFC West, who do you have winning the division? Firestorm, go.
Seahawks.
Dabs?
San Francisco.
Yeah, I have San Fran.
I kind of I thought San Fran would be the answer there. I didn't expect anybody to say anything different, to be honest. So, Firestorm, why?
I mean, I understand why you guys feel that way, and Vegas feels the same way, but it depends on Brock Purdy. He was excellent last season. Don't get me wrong. If he can stay healthy and if he can continue that success, then probably. But I mean, the same goes for the Seahawks, I guess. But I just think they really found something in Geno. He kind of came back to life. I could be proven wrong. I seem to be the odd man out tonight. I keep having these hot take division winners.
No, I agree with you.
I love it. I love it, actually. I kind of felt like the Geno thing was a fluke, but I'm willing to accept the fact that it could definitely happen again. I just don't see how. I mean, I think the 49ers, even if they get mediocre quarterback play, they've got CMC and they've got a great defense.
CMC's got to stay healthy too.
They got the whole they got the whole package. They're arguably set to duplicate be the best team in the NFC once again. So I just don't know. I don't know. It's tough. If the division winner doesn't come out of the NFC East, then I think it comes out of the NFC West. And I think it's either San Francisco, Philly, or the Cowboys for winning going to the conference or winning the conference championship once again.
Yeah, I mean, I agree what you're saying about Seattle. I just had them under, but I definitely agree because I think Seattle's actually got one of the most underrated receiver cores like out of any team because they didn't play as good as they could have last year. But Geno Smith, I mean, I think we're about to see really how good he is. I just don't think this year they're going to be above him, but I think Seattle's going to be a really good team. It's just I feel like they dropped everyone for Brock Purdy for a reason, dude. I mean, they're going balls to the walls with him. CMC, I don't think he'll get hurt this year. They have Deebo Samuel, all these guys. I think they're just a little bit better, but I definitely think Seattle will compete. I think they'll be good this year.
That's a massive point right there that you said, too, because they really did. They really went all in on Purdy. I mean, like, balls deep all the way in because they had 3 great quarterbacks last year. Now they got rid of 2 of them. So they must really think this guy is the answer. Because otherwise, if they had any shred of doubt, they wouldn't have got rid of Trey Lance or Garoppolo.
And hats off to them for saying, hey, we fucked up with the Trey Lance pick, so
I can't believe they let him go. Like he could have at least been their backup, but hey, I mean, I'll take it, dude. I'll take it all day long.
It makes you feel like the Cowboys got him too easy. Honestly,
they did.
They got him for basically nothing.
I'm nervous about it. I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? Is he got he's got a nubbin somewhere? Like
even
they
if
just
he
don't like
sits
him
for 3 years under Dak, they're good. He's going to be 27.
Yeah, I mean, if he can be, even 90% what he was coming into the league, God forbid Dak gets hurt again. That could be a reason they brought him in because Dak went down last season, and they don't want to be relying on veteran backups. They want to have somebody who's an actual weapon.
don't forget they went 4-1 with Dak gone.
Yeah,
with a game manager as a quarterback.
All right, let's
right,
get off
but
the fucking Cowboys, okay? There's 31 other teams.
who's winning the NFC then?
Like I said, I
think Philly's going to win the NFC.
Yeah, I think Philly's going to win.
I can't pick anybody other than Philly, Cowboys, or San Fran.
I want to see Detroit win the NFC, but
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm a Cowboys fan, but I do genuinely think Cowboys are going to take it. They just have so many weapons. Besides that, I would say the Niners passionately because they have a lot of weapons too. But with Pollard starting, and CeeDee Lamb, they're just too good, bro. They're too good.
All right, let's switch gears. Let's switch gears to fantasy football.
right.
I got you pulled up first, Dabs.
yeah.
So here's your team. Oh man,
What's my team name? Read my team name out loud for me.
Kareem Pie compilation.
And he doesn't have cream pie; he just loves them. So.
Hit me fast. Tell me what you really love about your team. Tell me where you think you're weak.
All right, so I think in the draft I definitely shored up my running back position. I didn't like my keeper Najee Harris, so I got Bijan right off the bat, and I took a risk but shoring up a flex position with Jahmyr Gibbs. My weakest spot is tight end. Evan Ingram is not great. If you're not named Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce, you're not going to be a top tight end. So
yeah, tight end stuff. There's not a lot of them out there.
Yeah, so I took a risk on hopeful heavy workload with Lawrence throwing the ball a lot, but we'll see.
And it's no surprise that you got Philly winning the conference, and you got Jalen Hurts as your QB.
Well, Jalen Hurts he's the man on my team right now. Him and Garrett Wilson, and hopefully Bijan. But I love Zay Flowers. I think he's going to be up there for Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to be fantastic in Baltimore system. What about outside of that? What do you think? Najee Harris is.
You got a D+ on your Yahoo grade. I just want to point out you got a D+.
It's all right. It's all an ADP. So yeah, they said Zay Flowers was my worst pick. It's because I reached for him the most.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Bijan and the Zay Flowers picks. Those are two people I had in my queue that just gone immediately.
It's really early, and this will change a lot before the games go live for week 1. But percentage starting right now, Zay Flowers, only 7% of Yahoo has him in their starting lineup,
which is crazy.
That's okay. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm telling you, Zay Flowers is gonna be the man out of the rookie class. And I'm not saying he's gonna be Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, but at least rookie wide receiver,
Go ahead and clip it. We'll just hold him to that one.
Zay Flowers.
All right. Zay Flowers is the man.
Yards.
Fiery shits. Got a C-.
Yeah.
Better than Dabs. Do you like your team better than Dabs?
Not really, to be honest with you. I'm glad I got Darren Waller. He's a huge upgrade at tight end for New York Giants.
Let me tell you, Firestorm. It was a true toss-up between Jahmyr Gibbs or Darren Waller with my second pick. I just couldn't justify taking Darren Waller with my.
I don't think you take him over him.
Yeah,
but it was tough. It was a tough decision.
Darren Waller this year.
He's a definitely better. He's a good option compared to what they've had in the past. I have a lot of trust in Tyler Lockett. Obviously, Jamar Chase is going to be he's the cornerstone of my team. I've had him every season since I drafted his rookie year. I have some hope for my bench. Cole Kmet in particular, talking about tight ends. He has some chemistry with Justin Fields. So, I'm going to game day decision, maybe throwing him in my flex spot because I don't know how Juju's going to do against the Philly defense.
How do you feel about Debo?
Debo's another one. I got flamed in my Chat GPT report card for taking them so early. but I took him in
I like the
anticipation.
Debo pick though. I mean, I think San Francisco. I don't
What
think
round
there's
did
a
you get him
bad offensive weapon.
He was I think I took him second round because I didn't have a pick in the first round for Jamar. So my thought process is he's obviously not the number one target, but he's still going to be up there. And if CMC goes down, his touches go up.
Yep. It's all dependent on CMC with him. Because once
Yeah,
CMC
CMC
got there
gets
last
injured.
year, Debo's production went way down.
Yeah.
The one thing that sticks out in your roster to me is you have you elected to keep 3 keepers this year. One of them's on your bench. You got Tua.
Game day decision with Tua and Danny Dimes. We'll see how it goes.
Did you not expect to get a quarterback you thought might be better than Tua?
To be honest with you, I wanted my money's worth because you get the 3 keepers included, and I didn't have anyone else that I want that was worth keeping. I kept Jamar, obviously. I kept Tua, and then Tyler Lockett as well.
And so at that note, I'll point out also you got 3rd place in the league last year. And there were only 2 people you felt strongly about keeping.
Yeah, I did pretty well on the waiver wire because I had a really bad draft. I had a worse draft last year than I did this year. But I got lucky on the waiver. I had a couple of people kind of jump up, but none that I don't think they're going to produce as well this season. And to be fair, I did have Tom Brady as my starting quarterback last season, so he's gone. That was one less person to keep. But
yeah, true. If Tom Brady had come back another year, would you have made him a keeper?
Oh, he would have been my keeper. Yeah, for sure.
You can't. I mean, at this point, you can't say no to Tom Brady.
No, and as long as he if he had stayed with.
Yeah. Listen, what team Tom?
And Bill Belichick did too. If he had stayed with Tampa, or God willing, he had gone to San Francisco, it would have been a no doubt lock of a keep. But with him retiring, it was, one sure keeper that I wasn't gonna keep. But
I like Danny. I think he's gonna be great.
Tua still has a lot of potential as long as he stays healthy.
Yeah, that's a big if. Concussions are serious. I mean, I don't want to talk about Dallas.
And you never know if some other I might lack in one spot, some other team has their starting quarterback go down. I can use him as trade material. I have some options, but that was my mindset with keeping Tua. Wasn't my first choice, but again, I'm paying $50 for 3 keepers. I'm gonna use 3 keepers.
There we go. Bring in the propane.
Yes, sir.
Great name.
I love this one.
Thank you.
It might be the winner on the. So, side note for those viewing at home, anybody that has the worst score week to week in our THF Fantasy Football League will get renamed by the person that has the best score for the week. So some of these names that you see, as clever as they are, they might not stick very long. So that's the punishment for our league, is you get renamed if you're the bottom spot.
Yes,
Jacob, go ahead. Tell us.
Considering like how I feel about it, I think since mainly like last year was my first year playing fantasy, I didn't know anything about fantasy. Like my draft was dumb. Like I probably drafted Amari Cooper in like the 2nd round. Like I didn't know what I was doing. So my 3 keepers weren't the best, but I think I've done well with, what I had to work with really. I think the main thing with this is that I have some players that are a little bit older. So what I'm going to end up doing is I've already started to, but I'm getting rid of a lot of people on my bench, and I'm going to draft a ton of rookies just for the upside later on, since it's a dynasty league. But I'm feeling pretty confident about it. I think Justin Fields will be a top 3 or top 4 quarterback for fantasy. He gets a lot of fantasy points, even though they usually lose. I like Jalen Waddle, Pollard. Yeah, so.
I like Waddle. I like Waddle for sure. I actually like. I know you're partial to Stevenson, but as long as he stays healthy, I like Pollard better than Stevenson.
Yeah, those are two really good choices. I tried trading with Januvia last season for Ramondre, but he wouldn't budge. But yeah, having Pollard and Ramondre as your starters, you're good to go.
I do have a legitimate question.
Yeah.
Your bench is entirely wide receivers.
Yeah.
So what's your game plan with like a running back?
I have one
waiver wire.
Can I mean, one of them's got to go because he needs his defense.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay.
I ended up, when I was drafting, I thought there was another round, so I went ahead and took, I think it was DPJ last or whoever, and I was like, oh, I don't have a defense. But I'm clearing out my bench anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But yeah, I have all wide receivers because I feel like I'm really strong on running back, and I'm trying to upgrade my wide receivers because I love Amari Cooper, but I could do better with him or Godwin depending on how they do this season. And I don't really like James Conner as my flex. Like, he's decent for points, but he's on the Cardinals, and like, he's not the. I feel like if I was able to get someone like Zay Flowers, which I was planning to, I'd be able to put him in that spot. So I'm trying really hard to get that wide receiver. I've been researching it a lot, so that's my main plan with that.
It's definitely a building process when you're in a league where you have, I don't necessarily call it a career league or a dynasty league per se, as much as just a career league. We're kind of treating our teams like the NFL, and we kick off the scrubs and bring on the rookies every year through the draft. But yeah, it's a process. It's definitely a process. You definitely have to build up to it through the draft. It's fun. I like it. I like it better than redraft leagues quite a bit.
It's a whole different approach.
Yeah.
Stupid question. Is our league half PPR or full PPR?
Full PPR.
So you can get away with having more wide receivers than running backs. If you're in a half PPR, you kind of benefit from getting a few more running backs because it's not as wide receiver heavy.
Yeah,
that's true.
But in the full league, can't really.
So if you don't want Quentin Johnston, just let me know.
You do want some depth, for injuries and bye weeks and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I already sent some trades. Need to send a couple more. I know the season hasn't started yet, but it's fun. So
it's fine.
Yeah.
And the Wakko Dome Whackers. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I mean, my keepers are CeeDee Lamb, Calvin Ridley, Austin Eckler. The question mark there is Calvin Ridley. Is he going to be able to duplicate? Is he going to live up to his potential before the suspension? I believe he will. That's why I spent to keep him. He was my fifth keeper, so I actually paid $10 to actually keep him, even though he's such a big question mark. Ayuk, again, I think everybody that's got talent is going to get fed in San Francisco. Mike Williams is just chomping at the bit to take over.
Always a safe bet to take Mike Williams.
Yeah, he's gonna take over as the dominant fantasy receiver as long as Keenan Allen stays healthy, because we already know when Keenan Allen's not healthy, Mike Williams can't be a true number one. But
I have one question.
As long as he's got a strong 2, he's good. What's up?
You took Kittle very early in the draft, so I'm wondering what it was with Kittle that you wanted so bad, because he's good, but you could have taken just a lot of other people in the draft. You got good people from the draft, by the way. I think you had a good draft. It was just Kittle at the start.
I think it was necessity. It was like where I had, because I didn't have a keeper for a tight end. I actually had Darren Waller last year, and at the last minute, I decided to drop him instead of keeping him, and just to save $10, honestly. So I felt like I had a hole at tight end that I wanted to fill to make up for not keeping Waller, and so it's probably an emotional pick more than anything. And when I saw Kittle available, I was like, yeah, I'm plugging the hole right now. Like,
name recognition.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it totally was. Again, I have a lot of belief in San Francisco as far as fantasy goes too. So that's why I have Ayuk and Kittle now, which,
and to be fair, there really aren't many tight ends worth taking, and Kittle's one of them.
Yeah,
right.
He's tight end 3 for sure.
There's not many.
He's as
In
much
my
a
oth-
toss-up as Evan Ingram, as
Yeah.
Darren Waller. They're all not Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce. So
right. And I've
my
done the Knox guy from Buffalo. I've done the guy from Pittsburgh
Dallas.
1 year. You know, I've
Ryan Muth.
it's like
Frymouth.
there's all these guys that are like,
Dallas
could this
Goedert.
guy be the next Kelce? And they never are. And I've done that over and over. Kittle's one of the names that is as close as you get to Kelce.
No, he's good for sure. He's a good pick. It's just in my mind, like if it's not Andrews or Kelce, I put it at the bottom over all these other guys I can pick instead. And Kittle's definitely good. I had him on my season last year. At the beginning, he was a little slow, but at the end of the season, he got a lot of points and he got right back up there. So
yeah,
it's definitely good. I like.
I like your
Ridley.
Javonte Williams pick on your bench. That's a good sleeper pick.
Yeah, I wanted him. I was gonna get him. Williams, Calvin Ridley,
And Tyler Boyd's a good one too, because you get games where Jamar's double covered. Higgins doesn't get every touch. Tyler Boyd, I took him last year off the waiver, and I ran him in my flex spot a lot of games, and he saved my team a couple times with some good sleep, good out of the blue points.
I've always been a Tyler Boyd fan. I'm a huge Jamar Chase fan. I have him in my other league as a keeper. This will be the third year that I have him, and last year that I get to use him as a keeper. Which, by the way, Firestorm, if you want to trade, I'm open. I like the guy. A lot.
He's the only thing that keeps me competitive, to be honest.
He's got Odell. So he believes in him. After that Odell talk, I see you got him.
I'm telling you, I have him in both of my leagues because he's a guy I feel confident I can waste a draft spot on and feel good about, it taking a chance on him. I used to do the same thing with Josh Gordon every year. I thought the guy was eventually going to come back and realize his potential. But there's certain guys, you'll see that on my bench all the time, year to year to year. I always take risks bench risks on players that most people have already written off. I do that from time to time, and Odell Beckham is one of those guys. I think most people have written him off, and man, if he clicks right with Lamar Jordan, I think, or Lamar Jackson, I think he might be fantasy relevant. Especially look at my bye weeks, week 7 and 9. I'm dead man walking.
Yeah, that was another thing I was going to mention to you, buddy. You got a lot of 7 and 9s on there.
Yeah, 7 and 9. I'm dead man walking. So I got to hit on some of these bench spots. I have to, otherwise I've automatically got 2 losses on the season already.
Yeah, Boyd's a good one to have, especially if Jamar Chase goes down again like last year and he's back to wide receiver 2. He'll put you up some good points.
So that we don't go too much longer, because we're already at an hour and 23. I know you East Coast boys want to probably get to bed. I got just the last thing that we want to bring up real quick is, and I didn't prep the folder because I'm a moron. The 4 of us will be participating each week in our weekly pick'ems. Because that's going to be some bragging rights, gentlemen. So we have, and I'm going to keep a running tally of how we do, just for the 4 of us, so that we can talk about it from week to week. If I can get this thing up on screen, that'd be great. This one. So there's our weekly pick'ems. This is a contest that I offer to subscribers of my Twitch channel. If you guys want to participate, it's absolutely free for subscribers of my Twitch channel. Participate and compete against us. You can win V-Bucks, gift cards, merch. I do a lot of different giveaways throughout the season. We change it up. The more people that play, the more that we're going to give away. So if it's we got a bunch of people playing week to week, then we'll do a first, second, maybe even third place. If it's not a lot of people participating, then obviously winner take all as far as that. But subs play for free on my Twitch channel, and you guys out there watching at home get to participate and compete against us and see if you can flex that fantasy football brain harder than we can. The other thing real quick that I want to touch on too is we got I also do the Monday Night Football pick squares. These squares are 100 bits per square. Just to kick it off, we're gonna do buy one get one free. So if you drop 100 bits in my channel, and you'll get to pick 2 numbers instead of 1, just to get us started for the season. We got a couple of the numbers that are already taken off of my last couple streams, so hopefully we get a good deal on that. If the board fills up, it'll be 1,000 V-Bucks for the first, second, third quarter and final, forward and backwards. So there's a total of 8,000 V-Bucks if you're a Fortnite fan that can be won off our Monday Night Football pot. So outside of that, I don't really have a whole lot of anything else. If any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Does anybody have any starts or sits for fantasy this week?
Oh, in the chat, anybody start
no, I
or
just
sit
mean,
advice
between us. Anybody?
Yeah.
Who's your stardom situms? Like real quick, rep them off.
I just wanted to say too that I appreciate playing in the league with all you guys, because it's a lot different than the leagues I play in, because you guys are very knowledgeable, like pretty much everyone in here. So it makes it competitive and it's more fun. Plus, there's like $600 or $700 to first place this year, right? That's ridiculous.
And the pot's big with the keepers.
Yeah.
A lot of people paid for extra keepers, so we got a bigger pot than last year. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely helps me learn, since I'm pretty new to it too. So it helps me.
So my final thought, if anyone's looking, if you live in a state where sports betting is legal, and you're looking for kind of a lock to hit on, to just one bet you want to place, if you got some, money lying around, I'm looking at the Lions Chiefs game for kickoff. Since the announcement of Travis Kelce being questionable, the total point spread the line went from 55.5 points down to 53.5 points. The Detroit Lions were the #1 team to hit the over last season, and the Chiefs can still score points even without Travis Kelce. So I would hammer that over for this week. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game.
You still got my tab running, right, Firestorm? Put me down for the over.
Sounds good.
Use code JANU on Underdog. You can get $100 match your deposit, and I get $10. Underdog has those game modes where you just do the one draft, and then it just plays it by week. And I've been loving those. And they have a Battle Royale mode. It's really fun if you guys don't use it. I've already bet too much money.
Are we doing a survivor pool, Wakko?
I don't think we got it set up. Yeah, we talked about it, but there really wasn't a whole lot of response for it in the Discord, so I didn't pursue it any further than what Arrow Dark had started. But if you guys aren't in the THF Hub community Discord, that's where all the pick'ems and the Monday Night Football squares, that's where all the announcements on the updates on all that stuff is going to take place. That's also where you can find the 4 of us pretty much 7 days a week, BSing about sports, talking about Fortnite or other video games or whatever. So if you're not in the Discord, get in the Discord, join us. We'd love to conversate with you and just continue to build this amazing community. So I want to wrap up by personally thanking Firestorm and Jadu for jumping on board with Dabs and I to make this THF podcast happen. this was kind of low-key Janu's idea. He hit me with it and got me inspired to attack something that I've always kind of wanted to do, which was, get something more sports oriented going. And so it hit what he said to me one night about 3 days ago, hit me deep. And here we are. We're live bringing you guys sports just like that.
We're both really high. And I was like, dude, we all talk so much about football. Why don't we just freaking do it, bro? Let's make a podcast. And he was like, oh my God, I'm in.
Dude, if I had a recording of it, that's exactly how it happened. So a lot of you guys may not know it. Once upon a time, about 15 years ago, I had a sports blog. So I love this stuff. I love it. And thank you guys, the three of y'all. Thank you for everybody that tuned in today. It really means a lot that you guys tuned in, and the show's just going to get better. We're gonna get comfortable with one another. We're gonna have a lot of fun putting this together. I'm gonna do more research because right now I'm more of a feel guy, and this is just what I feel. I don't even look at the numbers yet.
Can we just talk about how we feel?
I've been seeing a lot of people saying the vibes. I just don't get a good vibe from it.
I don't get a good vibe from that guy.
Oh yeah, okay. One bit of Dab's advice for the fantasy weekend: watch the Commanders-Cardinals games. If you have any Commanders players, you're going to want to start them. Arizona's going to be pitiful.
Yeah, they are.
That's and Washington always seems to have some fantasy standouts every year.
Two of my starters was Antonio Gibson and Jahan Dotson. They're going to be great week 1. So
that's good advice.
We'll hold you to it.
All right.
All right, gentlemen. We have a tradition with the THF podcast. We're going to keep it going in this one. So before I hit the end broadcast button, everybody go ahead and give an awkward wave. See you guys.
Firestorm's got it.